Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is my DoorDash activities for Monday, September 15, 2025. No comments, no tomfoolery 4.4. I'm a content creator, not a content moderator. Thank you very much. So kind of interesting dash today, and but first of all, I'll say before getting into today's dash, I'm really looking forward to the new opportunities that have come my way. I talked about this two videos ago in last week's update video. So the first opportunity, my first job with them is actually here in a few hours tonight. um, I I didn't get off to a perfect start because I scheduled this job. This is like a few days ago. I scheduled this thinking it was for like 6 o'clock in the morning, but it's actually 6 p.m. So, and I thought, well, I don't normally like to work at that time, but I scheduled it, and I don't want to back out of my very first accepted job with somebody, so I'll go ahead and do it. But I'm optimistic about that because from what I can tell, everything's like pre-scheduled, and from anywhere from like I see like 3 a.m. start times, and then it looks like it runs until about 10, 11 p.m. at night. And obviously the times that most everybody wants to work typically is your 7, 8, 9 a.m. start time, and obviously till 3 to 5 range. So a lot of those jobs aren't going to be available to me. But I got to thinking that's probably not the jobs that I would want anyway. I'm thinking those really early start times that the other people don't want, because like with DoorDash, for instance, if I could have, to avoid the traffic, if I could have gotten on to Dash like somewhere in 3 to 6 a.m. range, and it'd be busy, and there's high demand, and I could make good money in those hours. I would have been all over that from the very start of my door dashing career. But there's just, it's really low demand. So I've been maybe not that 3 to 4 a.m. range, but definitely 4, 4:30, 5. I've started early in those hours, and for the most part, it's dead. You're lucky if you'll get in a 2 hour time frame. You're lucky if you get a couple IHOP orders. I mean, so, but this is going to be completely different. I figured this new opportunity, I can get jobs starting out at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Do that first, and all when there's zero traffic outside, I'll have work that I'll be busy doing. There won't be any downtime. And then after I complete that, then I can jump on DoorDash. So that, like I said, I'm optimistic about it. The other opportunity, I don't know nearly as much about that. I'm not, all my paperwork and everything hasn't been approved yet. So they wanted a copy of my car registration. And I've never been asked that before for any of this other 1099 work. This is the first time. And we were out in Tennessee, and we didn't take my car. So all the registration was here. And I didn't know this, but that's not something that you can get a copy of online. So I basically had to wait till I came home and before I could submit that. And of course, that was like Friday night, I want to say, and I'm assuming nothing gets done over the weekends, and haven't heard anything today. So and that one as well is where jobs are scheduled in advance, and that's what I'd like to if I can move more towards that type of work where I can schedule like the day before or days in advance and get my work throughout the week scheduled ahead of time. Um, and then like use DoorDash and to fill in the gaps for time frames where I wasn't able to schedule anything with other places. Then I fill in the gaps with DoorDash because if you rely on DoorDash solely, well, it's not, you can't schedule anything in advance anymore. So you have to log in each day and just, hope and pray that you stay busy and the offers are coming in. So, like I said, I'm optimistic about this. And my first job here in a little over 4 hours from now, we'll see how that goes. And I scheduled that, and then also I believe like Thursday morning I scheduled another job with them for like a want to say like a 3:30 start time in the morning, something like that, and I'll do that and jump on DoorDash afterwards. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so today's dash, I did not set an alarm this morning. Normally, in the past, I'd start at 6 a.m., but I don't, because I have that other job here later, I didn't have my same $150 weekday goal. So today, I just wanted to do like 100 with DoorDash. So I didn't need to start at 6 o'clock. I logged in right around 7. You see here, I got my first offer at 7:10. Routine Starbucks order, and this took me 24 minutes to make the $9, 325 and 575. So I'm off and running at 7:30 in the morning. Wait about 5 minutes, and I get this. This was interesting. The 29.50, but going out to Reynoldsburg, and just 3 items to shop, and I went ahead and took it because well there. And I kind of, when I took this offer, I kind of went back and forth on this, but a possibility was that I could go and deliver. You see here that Reynoldsburg is busy, and my zone isn't. So I could go and deliver this order and then possibly switch to the Reynoldsburg zone. And like I went back and forth on that, but but anyway, I don't really understand this from the standpoint of there's a Meijer out there. In fact, I would do a shop from that Meijer. That's coming up later in today's recap. But so why that came from here when there's another Meijer out there that does orders. I don't understand this at all. But anyway, I took it. If I have $100 goal for the day and I can get $30, that's almost a third of it right there in one order, and just shopping 3 items. So from that standpoint, mileage wise, I don't know, this might kill me, but as far as getting towards my goal and time wise, this seemed okay. So I get to the Meijer. 8 minutes later, it's just 3 things from HBC. Okay, some Dr. Teal's, some heating pad, and Midol, and had that shopped in 3 minutes, easy as could be. And then now I gotta go clear across town to RY. Okay, so what time did I deliver this? Well, first, I took another screenshot getting out to my car. This was kind of interesting. Leave at the door, pin required. So which is it? If I'm just leaving it at the door, there shouldn't be a pin. Okay. So it takes me 26 minutes to get out to RY. I guess that's not too bad. And So total, so I got this offer at 7:39. So what is that? 40, wait, 49, 59, 09, 19, 40 minutes. Okay. 40 minutes for 29 bucks. Time wise, that's great, you know. Um, it was just leave at the door. The customer in the chat sent me a PIN number, but and I ended up not even needing it. The app just let me take a picture and go. Okay, so now we're at 8:19, and as expected, I got prompted to switch zones. On my drive out there, initially I was thinking I'd switch zones. Then on my drive out there, I was like, no, I don't think I want to mess with RY. And then I get out there, and well, and then I changed my mind after dropping off the order. Let's go ahead and switch zones. Part of the problem is RY is known historically in Central Ohio is like one of the worst places as far as rush traffic in the whole area. So it's absolutely horrible. It's worse than my zone. Um, People, it doesn't matter if you're talking about the morning rush or the evening, and it's RY and it's Sawmill Road. You know, those are the two historical nightmare areas to be in at 8:30 in the morning. Um, so I figured it's going to take me a while to, I'm going to get stuck in the traffic trying to get onto the interstate. Just trying to get out of here is going to be kind of like a nightmare anyway. I just have like the $100 goal. Let's just stay here and see how it goes. So that was my thought process, and I went ahead and switched. Okay, a minute later, I get a routine McDonald's, 725, 4 miles. So let's go ahead and take it. And this just took 17 minutes. Um, I didn't do a recap like this yesterday, of course, and I was going to talk about this new summary screen after your orders, with all the new bells and whistles on it. I kind of like this. Where it shows your total online time. I don't know how helpful that really is, but your offers accepted. If you're going to do this and put this on this screen, I would go ahead and show the actual updated acceptance rate percentage as well. I mean, you got enough room and space here. I would go ahead and do that as well. I like the how it shows your updated total to that point. I like that. I'm still a little bit confused. Why can it be updated there? But as soon as you close this out and hit continue dashing, a lot of times the amount is not updated on your Dasher home screen yet. So that's confusing to me. Why can it be updated here but not on your main screen? I don't understand that. Um, and of course, the breakdown is pretty much the same and everything. So, you know, um, 756 6 Mile Food Frenzy. I have no idea what this is, but hey, I'm being brave. I'm dashing in RY. Let's take it. Okay, I get up towards where this is at, and GPS is directing me to a Shell gas station. And I'm like, what the heck? And my wife was thinking that this was a ghost kitchen name. So it was a ghost kitchen name for the Shell. I pull in and I walk inside, tell him what I'm there for, and the guy points to the side wall of the store, and there I see the Food Frenzy storefront, inside the Shell station, little restaurant, off to the side within that gas station. Kind of cool. Um, Usually inside your gas stations, you're used to seeing like a Subway or like a known chain or whatever. But this looked like independent. And I had to wait on this. I messed up. I did not reset my stopwatch. So I was waiting in there a few minutes and kind of messing around. And by the time I realized it, I'd already been in there a few minutes. It was kind of too late to, start my stopwatch at that point. And I actually made no money on this order because while I was in the gas station, I spent $8 on two lottery tickets. Okay, so Powerball and Mega Millions, one ticket each with the multipliers. Um, that was just completely, totally like spur of the moment. I don't even know what the jackpots are. Or I don't even know when these drawings are. I just bought the tickets for whenever the next drawings are. I'm not a lottery person. I might buy lottery tickets maybe twice a year. And that's a lot for me. Usually it's about once a year, it seems like. Um, so we'll see if I win. So that was $8. So that cancels out this 756. Completed this. Wow, this took over a half hour for 756. Yes, I didn't do good on this, folks. 425 and 331 tip. 650 Tim Hortons, 4.5 miles. This took, what is this, 16 minutes. I didn't even, I had Rhodey logged off actually, but was still getting updates. I didn't even take a look at that. $3 and a 350 tip. You see, I've accepted all 5 offers to this point. This right here, I don't know. I didn't like the looks of this. 1825, but but that's including the $5 promo. So this was only to begin with a $13 order for shopping 24 units. So I knew from that standpoint this was bad. This was only a possible order that I would do only because of that $5. Well, I mean, let's take a look at the item list here, and if I just see one thing that I don't like, then okay, boom, here it is right here, second item. 2 packs of water, done, decline. If this would have had to been, if it was like 10 or 12 total units and the two, including the 2 packs, then I might have done this. But 24 units, including 2 cases of water, and paying 18.25. To me this was just kind of like kind of borderline. And another thing too, I didn't know, I'm not familiar with that area. I graduated from RY, and that was 500 years ago. 5 to 600 years ago, somewhere in that time frame. I graduated from this area, and since then I've hardly been back to it. Just rarely, few times here and there. I'm not. It's almost like I'm not familiar with the area at all. Almost. I didn't know where I was. The previous customer had a bad signal. I was just driving somewhere to where I could get a signal, and I happened to stumble upon a Target, and all of a sudden my signal bars shot up from 1 to 4 bars. And sweet, well, let me pull into this Target. I have a signal, and I'll go in, I'll use the bathroom, get something to drink, and yada yada. So I got this offer as I was pulling into the Target. I was like, no, I'm going to decline this and still go inside the Target and see what I can get. Okay, and then I'll go ahead, and I haven't done a members only video in a while, so I'll go ahead and shut this down here and do a part 2 for members only. And there will be a link in the description for this video how you can become a member if interested. But that's it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. As always, be sure to drive safe out there, and we'll catch you at the next video. Thanks again.